All right, people. Can you hear me good out there? This is Terry Watson, the founder of Strategies for Justice and a state college resident. I'm here with my dear pal, Leslie Lang. Leslie, how are you?
I am welcome, Terry, and I am happy to be here. I'm so excited that State College is going to celebrate their very first Juneteenth.
I'm excited. Leslie, let's show us our matching t-shirts. There we go.
Yes,
Let
we're letting
freedom ring.
freedom ring.
We are thank you, by the way, thank you, Black Monarchy out there in Buffalo, New York, for providing us with these t-shirts. Much appreciated. I'm sending my love to you today. All right. I see that people who are commenting, we have about 28 people already in for the first minute, so that's awesome. Uh, I see here, oh, we got some people from Maine. Okay. Hello, Carol. How are you today from Blue Hill, Maine? Is wonderful. Oh, some people from State College, of course. State College, you got to show up because this is your hometown. So we have our friend Jason from State College Live. He has two feeds going for us, and we're going to show him some love too. And before we get started today, I want to make sure everyone knows that the first hour is going to be streaming live from the MLK Plaza on Fraser Street. And then the second hour is going to be Leslie and I having some great times, right?
Yes.
All right, comment in the section box where you guys are from, where you're watching from. We love to see where you guys are coming from, and by all means. So let's see, Jason, how are we doing down there, Jason?
Hey everybody, how's it going? It's everybody's having some fun down here, and this is a wonderful celebration. Everybody's showing up. Everyone's in good spirits. So thank you for being here, everybody.
This is
Wonderful.
wonderful. Jason, I'm loving to see, I love the social distancing, which is awesome. I see that people are out there wearing their mask, and I see that our drummers, they get down now. Welcome, State College guys.
Go on, Jeff and drummers.
All right, so what we're going to do, we're going to take a break and let the MLK Plaza take over. And Leslie and I will see you at 1 o'clock. So, with that said, everyone enjoy the first Juneteenth celebration here in State College, sponsored by the NAACP and Strategies for Justice.
Yes.
Talk to you guys soon.
Thank you. Jeff and the drummers. Everybody give another round of applause. Good afternoon. My name is Lorraine Jones. I am the State College NAACP president. State College NAACP mission is political, educational, and social economic equality of rights in order to eliminate race-based discrimination and secure the health and well-being of all persons. It is my pleasure to welcome you here to celebrate our first ever Juneteenth. Each year around June 19th, African American communities across the country unite to try to bring families together for Juneteenth activities featuring sight and sounds of Blackness, people enjoying art, music, and food that connect them in shared ancestry and history. They celebrate their freedom. To celebrate the marks of a day in 1865 when enslaved Texans learned they'd be freed 2 months later after Robert E. Lee surrendered and ended the Civil War. And 2.5 years after the proclamations. Initially, the Union of Texans observed Juneteenth has now been recognized in some form in every corner of the country. Today, we get to celebrate right here in Center County, Juneteenth for the first time. And so I want to bring up the mayor. He had did a proclamation last year. Governor Wolf actually made it a holiday. So I want to recognize him and let him do the official proclamation.
Thank you, soon to be Dr. Jones. Right. Well, it's a pleasure for me to be here, and I'm so happy to see you all wearing masks. That's terrific. I want to make brief remarks before it's wonderful to have event at Martin Luther King Plaza. And I want to recognize some people. I was on Borough Council when this decision was made to create the Martin Luther King, but I was simply one of many council members. Kathy Dollar is here. She was on, but I want to give particular credit to Peter Morris. Peter is back here, and stand up, Peter, please. Because Peter was the guy who made it happen. It was his push on council and his vision on council that resulted in Martin Luther King Plaza. So how about a round of applause? Thank you, Peter. Okay, I want to read this proclamation and then give it to Jones as the first document in the NAACP archives. Proclamation, Juneteenth Freedom Day, June 19th, 2020. Juneteenth is the oldest known celebration commemorating the abolition of slavery in the United States and the emancipation of enslaved African Americans throughout the Confederate South. On June 19th, 1865, more than 2 years after the Emancipation Proclamation was issued on January 1st, 1863, the Union soldiers landed at Galveston, Texas, with news that the war had ended and the enslaved were now free. And whereas on that first Juneteenth, a name that combines June and 19th, the people of Texas were read General Order Number 3, which stated, quote, "The people of Texas are informed that in accordance with from the Executive of the United States, all slaves are free. This involves an absolute equality of rights and rights of property between former masters and slaves, and the connection heretofore existing between them becomes that between employer and hired laborer. And whereas the first Juneteenth celebration was a time for reassurance prayer, and the gathering of family members. Juneteenth today continues to grow within communities and organizations throughout the country, and these celebrations share a common mission of promoting and cultivating knowledge and appreciation of African American history and culture. And whereas the recognition of Juneteenth Freedom Day in the Borough of State College commemorates the impact of slavery, the abolition movement, and African American emancipation, and has become a celebration of independence, human rights, and African American culture in our community. Now, therefore, I, Mayor Ron Filippelli, do hereby, for the first time in the municipality of State College, proclaim June 19th as Juneteenth Freedom Day in the Borough of State College, and encourage everyone to join me in this celebration and continue to speak out against hate and systemic racism that continues to exist in our country. In testimony whereof I have hereunto set my hand and caused to be affixed the Great Seal of the Borough of State College this 15th day of June 2020. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mayor. Have Pastor Mac to come up and start us off with prayer.
There's in the Bible, in the book of Galatians, there's a scripture passage that reads that Paul wrote, "It is for freedom that Christ has set us free." And basically, the key context is that freedom is meant to be real freedom for all who receive it. And so would you bow your heads with me today? Dear Lord Jesus, as I come to pray today, we celebrate this day. We celebrate freedom. And at the same time that we celebrate freedom, we solemnly become aware of the fact that freedom does not mean the same for everybody in our nation or in our community. And so we pray that as we celebrate, we also honor those in our past, in our present, who have so labored that freedom would mean the same for every person, every Black person and every person of color in our nation, in our community. So we give you thanks for this day, but also we ask you to give us a resolute heart to continue to push forward until the day comes when we are celebrating this day, that truly it is freedom that we are freely walking in all together. I ask this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Thank you so much, Pastor Mac. And now I have a recitation by Tiara Williams.
Can everybody hear me better? That man over there say that women needs to be helped into carriages, lifted over ditches, and to have the best place everywhere. Well, no, or lifts me over ditches or gives me the best place. And ain't I a woman? Look at me, look in my arm. I have plowed and planted and gathered into barns where no man could head me. And ain't I a woman? I could work as much and eat as much as any man. And when I could get to it, I could bear the lash as well. And ain't I a woman? I have borne over 13 children and seen most of all sold into slavery. And when I cried out a mother's grief, and none but Jesus could hear me. Ain't I a woman? That little man in the black there say, women's can't have as much rights as a man because Christ wasn't a woman. Well, where did your Christ come from? Where did your Christ come from? From God and a woman. Man had nothing to do with it. Lies for y'all hearing me today. And there ain't nothing more old Sojourner Truth got to say. Thank you.
And now we're going to have Dance by Joy Hodge and the Drummers. Thank you so much. And now we're going to have the high school students to come up to do a spoken word. We have Cheetah Ray, Ty, Andre, Bianca.
Can everybody hear me? Can you hear me now? Okay. I'm Chidori Opuda, and I'm a rising senior at State High, and this is a poem I made. Can't hear me? Can you hear me now? Okay. I ponder a lot on my various thoughts, and a multitude of things come to mind. Does my hair look good? What is there to eat? I really need to sleep. However, some thoughts tend to linger. Who's next today? Am I welcomed here? Why does this happen to my people? Some may see this as unfathomable. I'm grateful this is not your reality, for I wouldn't wish this on my greatest foe. However, this walk of life is one that seems to face me. Black, the first thing you see, the pigment of my skin, the melanin my ancestors have given me, I wear proud like a badge of honor. Yet my color does not define me. It should not incriminate me, nor should it deem that I'm lesser than any other human being. Your reality may not be mine, but it is a crime to deny my reality is a testament to our times. For the truth is, my reality looks like me. I'm tired. I'm tired that in order for justice to work, the story the most. Beliefs that are the same ideals perpetuated today. I am angry that the justice people comes however it is silent anything right. So my fear stricken on routine traffic stops, fear need to true indeed matter. Why don't we? So when I not we be treated equally, or is all matter a saying to sense our pain? Thank you.
Hi, my name. I'm senior and will be 11th grade next year. All right. My father has always taught me my Black history. Culture in school, that my Black culture wasn't recognized when I walked.
until I learned that. So I
Okay,
reminded
listen up,
myself
folks. We're
that
going
I
to
wasn't better.
take a station.
So today I would like to just name a few Black people who have created things that we see every day that some of us may not know. Okay, Black history is a history of inventions like the traffic light, made by Garrick Morgan, world record breaking Olympic women, Wilma Rudolph, traveling to space, Ronald McNair and Gunnan Bluford, Martin Luther King Jr., and Mary C.J. Walker, who made the hot comb. Now, the traffic lights, we use them every day, but do we hear about them in school? Do we hear people speak about the accomplishments of Black people? Because I'm getting tired of hearing about slavery all the time. We have come a long way from there. And that came to my mind when I was reading a book yesterday called I Will Overcome. And it changed 3 times throughout history. It said, I will overcome and I shall overcome. And we have made so much recovery from slavery, so much progress, yet we cannot have our history told. And to me, that's a problem. Because educating ourselves and our peers on Black culture could change a lot in this world. Thank you.
Hi guys, can you hear me? So I'm Mark Marshall. I'm a rising senior at State High. So there's been 4 lynchings over the past week alone. It's June 19th, 2020, Juneteenth. And yet we were freed in 1865 and we still have lynchings. 5 Black people have been found hanging from trees. 4 Black people have been found hanging from trees. And every day a new video pops up on Black Twitter with a new celebrity or random person making racist remarks. Donald Trump is still posting ridiculous tweets and videos that depict systematic racism as not a thing. The Confederate flag is still trying to be protected by the people that say they love America, which is actually really funny considering the Confederate flag represents traitors to the United States. NASCAR just banned the Confederate flag from its races, causing the driver to retire because he couldn't live in his slave state dream. The argument we always get is the flag represents how they wanted states' rights. Yeah, they wanted states' rights, the right to own slaves, and hold Black people down. And I know today is a day of celebration, but it should also be a day of remembrance of all the struggles and pain and hatred that Black people have experienced in America and all around the world. Let us not forget the brave Black people who stood up to this system. Harriet Tubman, MLK, Rosa Parks, Malcolm X, Nat Turner, John Baptiste. I can go on for another hour listing names of those who stood up to this systematic racism. But I want all of you to know, no matter how big or small you think your contribution that you have made is, you will be in history. You will be in history as someone who did the right thing, as someone who was sick and tired of this bullshit and made a change.
My name is Ty Todd. I'm also a rising student. So I wrote this. This is just a few things that have been on my mind in the past few days. So I'm gonna repeat one word in this thing that I wrote, the word why. And so since I really like to feel your energy, I'd really appreciate it if when I say why, you guys say why back to me. So let's just practice. So why? Why? Thank you. Why? 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 While our hearts are full of peace, our lungs are full of tear gas. And while our minds have grown strong, our eyes have grown restless. Why? Why? Why can't they just peacefully protest? Because our president wants a photo op. Because
Kaepernick was fired and MLK was assassinated. Why? We don't make it violent. They do. Why? Why do you say all lives matter when you care more about the money stolen from a store than a man stolen from his daughter? Why? Why did you run to the store to buy Michael Jordan shoes, but didn't run to the streets to avenge Michael Brown's death? Why? Why can you say rest in peace to Kobe, but not to his brother Tamir Rice, but not to his sister Breonna Taylor? Why? Why do you wear my culture in the streets, but not my name? Why? Why do we say defund the police? Because we are tired of arming our killers, paying for their training that they use to slaughter us, and their attorney fees to get them off for it. I think of Ahmed Arbery as I jog past my neighbor's door, Antoine Rose as I drive to the store, Eric Garner as I walk through the streets, and Breonna Taylor as I go to sleep. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's give another round of applause for the ice cream. And that last young man that didn't wear his mask, I'm going to have a conversation with his parents. So I do want to take a moment right now to take a moment of silence. Today marks the day that Anton Rose was shot and killed by the police. So I'm asking everybody, let's give him a few minutes of silence to remember him for this day. Make a tribute to the elders. We would not be here right now and make progress that we made as African American community and as a nation without the labor of our elders. And so I want to give homage to them. One person in particular that I'm thinking of is Sister Thelma Mama Price. Yes. She was sent here in the 1970s on behalf of the NAACP. And so if her grandson can come up and share a couple of words about her, and thanks you.
Good afternoon. My name is Will Price. I'm the son of Curtis and Margie Price and the grandson of Thelma Price. My grandmother was a great member of this community and a champion for civil rights and equal opportunity here at Penn State. As a child, I only knew her as Grandma Price. I can remember back to the days before my family moved to State College. We would visit my grandma's house and her dog Tasha. We used to eat pancakes in the morning and watch cartoons on her TV. And when my family moved here in '99, her house also became the place where I would spend my sick days from school. We'd watch The Price is Right and eat soup. And it was around this time in my life that I would get the chance to see her likeness painted on the Heister Street mural. My sister and I even got to put our handprints on the wall. Every time I walk past that mural, my heart remembers the amazing woman my grandmother was. I knew my grandmother was important. Not only was she on the wall with other State College greats, but everywhere we went, someone knew who my grandmother was. And that's something she and I have in common. As I began to grow older, I started to understand why my grandmother was so beloved. There are 4 things in my mind that define who my grandmother was. She was strong and determined. She loved Jesus. She looked out for others, and she cared deeply for her community. My grandmother might have been the strongest-willed person I've ever met. Her demeanor was sweet and kind. as president from 1977 to 1986. All of that while raising my aunt and my father as a single mother. My grandmother loved Jesus. She passed down that passion to my father and to me as well. She worshiped at Unity Church of Jesus Christ. Even beyond that, she emulated Jesus in many ways. She treated others like Jesus treated Samaritans, Jews, Gentiles, children, and lepers, like children of God, like her own children, which is why she adopted the name Mom Price. She stood firm in her beliefs that everyone deserved to be loved. And in 1 John chapter 3, verses 18 and 19, it says, "Dear children, let us not merely say that we love each other. Let us show the truth by our actions. Our actions will show that we belong to the truth. So we will be confident when we stand before God." My grandmother exemplified these words. She didn't just tell you that she loved you. She showed it day in and day out. When she passed in late 2013, I know she was confident when she stood before her Father in heaven. My grandmother loved serving her students and those in need. She worked hard to find them resources that they needed: food, money, clothes, and a place to lay their head, even if it meant opening her own home. She ran a soup kitchen downtown for a short stint in the early 2000s. If there was someone in need, she could not turn a blind eye. She spoke up for the oppressed, the marginalized, the forgotten, and fought tirelessly to help them gain the same opportunities that their classmates received. She loved this town, this university. Before she left, she never stopped working to leave a positive legacy. I'm honored to say that her spirit lives on through me and the members of my family. My grandmother faced persecution, struggled with racism, and excelling in a male-dominated field. But she persevered. She did it all with a smile on her face and love in her heart. I think about her often. She never got to see me receive my degree from Penn State or get engaged to this past fall to my beautiful fiance. But I know she's smiling down on me. Although she's not able to experience the peaceful protests of today, the masses speaking up for Black lives is a testament to the hard work that she put in fighting for civil rights. I hope one day I can leave the same type of legacy that she left in this community. And who knows, maybe one day I'll be on that wall right beside her. I love you, Grandma, and thank you for always believing in me.
And now we're going to have a couple of words from two of our elders in the community, Dr. Henderson and Dr. Charles Dumas.
Been come out and support in defense of the life since I've been here in 2000. Yeah, Trump, but the president of Penn State planned his town hall for the Juneteenth today. Only then did he switch to the June 22nd because he didn't know. People don't misunderstand white supremacism. They're willfully ignorant. It ain't no new news. Osagie was killed March 2019. In January, I wrote a piece that the students published in the op-ed, Being Black at Penn State. And put it on me. I said that. I talked about the racism here. Google it, Being Black at Penn State. I talked about the hostile climate. There's 3% Black professors at Penn State for 30 years. For 30 years, there's been 3% Black professors. Penn State still doesn't have the numbers of Black students it had in the 1980s. You were all here during this time. You were all here. It's wonderful and important you come out now, but ignorance is not an excuse. You know what Penn State University did after I published that? They banned me from teaching. They banned me from attending department meetings. They even banned me from telling you what they banned me from doing, which is why I'm telling you now. I published 2 books in 7 months in university press. There are white professors who've been promoted who haven't published 2 books in 7 years. Some of them haven't published 2 books in their career. I won't even be considered for promotion. White supremacism is right in front of your face. It's here. When this was dedicated, you remember the day this was dedicated? I was one man out there protesting. Look at it. It's wonderful space we should claim. Why is it sunken? Why you got to damn near stumble on it? Martin Luther King came here in 1965 at Rec Hall. We even demanded since Mama Price a statue of King be erected in front of Rec Hall. You know why it's not? Because everybody and their mama know damn well if you put a statue of King outside Rec Hall, the same white folks that come and take pictures on the lion will then go put graffiti and racist slurs on that same MLK statue. Y'all don't know what I'm talking about though, right? Y'all don't know what I'm talking about, right? White supremacism at Penn State. What's going to happen when they bring them back? When they bring back our students? They bring them back. When all the Karens and Chads come back and the complaints are made about Black students in dorms or Black professors who sound and talk like me, and the same apparatus that's in power, they can't be trusted to transform. The president didn't know Juneteenth. No, Eric Barron didn't know Juneteenth. Look here, Osagie, the murder of Osagie. We still don't know who's officer number 1. So when you call police, the murder of Osagie may be showing up. Bernie Cantor, after the killing, he immediately said it was a tragedy. It was a tragedy for Osagie, and it was a tragedy for the police. He said that. He owes the Osagie family an apology. It's on there. Look at the WJAC YouTube. Don't look on the Center Daily Times video. They cut it. They cut it when Bernie said, they only videotaped it afterwards. That's the only thing they post. Cantorna said it was a tragedy for the Osagie family and for the police killer. We still don't know his name. They had you thinking Osagie had a knife. Osagie had a knife in his damn house, minding his own damn business. You can have a knife if you want. He had just brought groceries. He was coming from the store. I would think he's cutting up his groceries. They covered the peephole so he couldn't see. This happened under your nose. They never interviewed Osagie's roommate. They said they screamed at Osagie, drop the knife, drop the knife, drop the knife. In that small apartment, the roommate never woke up. You know what the roommate said? He woke up to gunshots. The police, we don't believe you. When I asked the police chief, why didn't you interview the roommate? He said he didn't think they needed to. It's hidden in plain sight. It's right in front of your eyes. It didn't take George Floyd, but you know something? I'm glad you're here. It's wonderful that you're here. Black folks who keep showing up, supporting white folks who show up, and the white folks who just showing up now, hey, think of it like Freedom Summer. They invited white folks to the South for strategic reasons. You didn't wait for an invitation. You came on your own. So don't let nobody lecture you about what's minimal about you're doing. It's amazing what you're doing. I support what you're doing. You see me out there protesting with you. And I just had back surgery two months ago. But You keep doing it. We keep doing it. But we got to hold them to justice. What did Barron say? We need to do another task force, another commission. I ain't writing no more damn reports about white supremacism, white racism at Penn State, in-state college. Ain't writing no more of that. We've been saying this for years, for decades. I just want to say this if I can, sister. Can I want to say this. You can do things now. What I want, I'm not speaking for nobody else. I only represent myself. I'm the advisor of Penn State Black Caucus, but I'm speaking for my damn self. I'm a professor in the political science department. I'm banned like I'm in some kind of apartheid South Africa. You don't know about it because they scare people. They get them cowed. And part of banning me, they said I can't even tell people about it. You see what I'm saying? What did they ban me for? They charged me with creating a hostile climate on the campus after I complained about the white racism on this campus. That's what they did. Read Being Black at Penn State. It's there. The students had the courage to publish it, but we don't have many students like that, like Miss Powers and Mr. Pukerman. Both of them white in the Daily Collegian. Read it. Look here. We need, for this place, divestment of Penn State from State College Police until it reveals the name of officer number 1. It should divest from State College Police. Why? Because you call the police, you don't know if a sergeant's murder is showing up. If you're a parent, you don't know if that's who's coming up to see your child in the dorm. We need an independent review of all disciplinary actions against Black students at Penn State. They need to dismantle that Office of Student Conduct. They need to dismantle it. They ain't doing no damn call. And if you're making a demand and you see the president agree with you right away, you know that's a trick. They love to get you talking about a code. You know what they're going to use the code against? People like me. People reciting rap lyrics, but not against the white racists who are in power, who never have to use the word racism or black in order to be racist. And I'm proving the Constitution is a racist document. It never uses the N-word. Don't have to. 3/5 of a person. You don't have to have racist language. I don't need to know what's in your damn heart. I don't care about your damn heart. I care about your behavior, your actions, the institutional support for your actions. Go see Being Black at Penn State. I just asked you to ask one thing. Is what Henderson said true? I ain't asked you to support me. The principle. Is what he said true? Because the students even published it. They published it in January. They charged me in March. They convicted me in May. And said I create a hostile climate and I'm banned from classes. I'm banned from department meetings like I'm in some damn apartheid South Africa, and they banned me from telling you this. Look here. We need all affirmative action complaints made by Blacks against Blacks. We need a complete review of that. We need an independent affirmative action office who doesn't report to the provost. The provost, Nick Jones, when he opened a faculty meeting for liberal arts, he started off with an ethnic joke. An ethnic joke. I complain. Affirmative action reports to Nick Jones. Who do you go to when you're complaining about the provost? We need independent, NAACP Legal Defense Fund, the National Lawyers Guild, real lawyers over the Affirmative Action Office, independent of the provost, an independent review of all Black professors who have not been considered for promotion but have put time in for pros. We need to establish a new scholarship, the Osage Osage Memorial Distinguished Professorship, the Osage Osage Memorial Scholarship Fund. We need to expand the offerings and support the demands of the Afro-Am Department, but also the African Studies Program and the Black Caucus. And what I demand from them is a damn apology to start with, because now when Barron puts out how he's so concerned about racism, institutional racism, and I want to be aware of time, but his response to your professor, a professor in been here since 2002, was to ban me and try to silence me. Do I look like or sound like I'm gonna be silent? Look here, I wasn't born in the civil rights movement. The first police I met in my home at 9 years old. He put an M1 carbine to my head. He put a 45 to my mother's head, a 45 to my brother's head. You see what I'm saying? I don't need no lessons about police. That's growing up in Detroit. But look here, what's happened here, what you organized about here, don't lose the fire and the momentum, because it's only started. They rely on your complicity and your silence. That's what they rely on. They have faith you will be white racist just like them. Then fix that. Keep organizing. Make revolution in this place.
Thank you, Dr. Henderson. And I want everyone to kind of let that resonate. We all have different ways of expressing our fear, our anger, and our pain. And so I wanted to give Dr. Henderson an opportunity to speak because we all grieve in different ways. And so we need to respect that. Without further ado, we're going to have Dr. Charles Dumas come up.
How y'all doing? I said, how y'all doing? I think it's appropriate that I come up after the young folks, and that includes you, Errol, because this is a movement today that's being led by those young folks. We elders are here to add a perspective, to tie in, as I think Hofer tie in the past with the present, and to let you know that we support you fully. I wrote this for this occasion. Originally, I was going to do something from Frederick Douglass, but I decided let's try to bring things together. It's called Speech for Juneteenth, and if it's a little rough because, like I said, I voted for this. Walk together, children, don't you get weary. Going to be a great camp meeting in the promised land. Don't quit. Walk together, children, don't you get weary. Going to be a great camp meeting in the promised land. Don't quit. Walk, 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 walk. Talk, 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 talk. Walking and talking with our minds on justice. Don't quit. Quit that. Justice for George Floyd, justice for justice for Ahmed Berry, justice for Breonna Taylor. Say the names, Trayvon Martin, Eric Garner, Sandra Wayne. Walk together, children, we won't walk alone. Say the names of Michael Brown, Ayanna Jones, Terrence Pratchett. Don't you get weary. We got a ways to go before we rest. Say the names, Emmett Till, Anthony Lee, James Chaney, Andrew Goodman, Michael Swerner. Walking and talking with our minds stayed on justice. No justice, no peace. Keep on walking. Don't quit. Margaret Walker said, for my people, standing and staring and trying to fashion a better way from confusion, from hypocrisy and misunderstanding, trying to fashion a world that will hold all the people, all the faces, all the Adams and Eves in their countless generations. There's a freedom train coming, but keep on walking, walking, talk, talk. Walk together, children. Don't you get weary. Whose streets? Our streets. Don't quit. Don't be afraid. They can't do nothing to us they haven't done to our ancestors 100 times over. They beat us, shot us, lynched us, mutilated our people, but they didn't quit. They kept on marching. Walk, walk, yeah, talk, talk. Don't quit, don't quit. Martin had a dream. He gave us hope that we could build a world that holds all the people in their dreams. But just in case, Malcolm had a gun. And he said, if you put your hands on me, I'll make sure you don't put them on anybody ever again. Walk, walk. Don't quit. Claude McKay said, brothers and sisters, we must meet the common foe. Though far outnumbered, let us show brave. And for their thousand blows, deal one death blow. What though before us lies the open grave? Men and women will face the murderous, cowardly pack, pressed to the wall, dying, but fighting back. Walking and talking with our minds on justice. Don't quit. Don't quit on yourselves. You are our best. You are the world's future. With success comes responsibility, a sacred promise. Be sure the world you pass on is better than the world you inherit. Don't quit on your dreams. Langston Hughes said, hold fast to dreams, for when dreams die, life is a broken winged bird that cannot fly. Don't quit on America. This country is a work in progress. You are the sculptors that will mold and shape this new Jerusalem, which still inspires hope in the hopeless, still provides vision to the visionaries, still empowers the powerless, and still provides a path for those who would work for justice. Don't quit. Don't quit on our ancestors. They have hewn out the path and cleared the way so that you can move on. King didn't quit. He may not have gotten to the promised land, but he got us to the mountaintop so we could see the promised land. Malcolm X didn't quit. He was gunned down, but not before he shared his vision of a dignified people coming into their glory. Fannie Lou Hamer didn't quit. She never got to register to vote in her homeland of Mississippi, but she made sure that Mississippi has more Black elected officials now than any other state in the country. John Brown didn't quit. He was a prophet trying to tell folks that the only violence could end slavery, and they hung him for his truth. Nelson Mandela didn't quit. They put him in the prison and tried to kill him, but he came out and became president of his country. He and his ANC brothers and sisters ended apartheid and brought democracy to South Africa. Barack Obama didn't quit. He lost the first time he ever ran for public office, but then came back to be elected to the United States Senate, and then became our greatest United States president. He said, the single most powerful word in our democracy is the word we. We the people, we shall overcome. Yes, we can. That word is owned by no one. It belongs to everyone. We are the people. Don't quit. The people of Ferguson didn't quit. No. A stacked white grand jury found that police officer Darren Wilson acted appropriately when he killed student Michael Brown. The police chief, Tom Jackson, figured the grand jury decision was the end of it. The city manager thought that business would go on as usual, but the people, yes, the people, we the people didn't think it was over. The people wanted change. The people wanted to end racism, and that permeated so-called law enforcement system. You see, they all forgot. They forgot that the arc of the universe does bend toward justice. The truth trampled to the ground will rise like a flood of righteousness. They thought we were living in old days, but those days are not only old, they are gone. And so, in March 2015, after an extensive investigation, the U.S. Justice Department, headed by an African-American Attorney General, appointed by an African-American President of the United States, elected by all the people, announced that they had determined that the Ferguson Police Department had engaged in misconduct against the citizenry of Ferguson by discriminating against African Americans and applying a racial stereotype in a pattern and practice of unlawful conduct. As a result, a whole bunch of people lost their jobs. The police chief was forced to resign. The city manager and that top court clerks had to quit. Even Officer Wilson found it expedient to seek employment elsewhere. Today, Ferguson has a Black woman mayor, and so does Atlanta, and so does Chicago. The people of Minneapolis didn't quit. A police officer who apparently thought he was still living in those bad old days killed an unarmed Black man. He must have figured he was back in the days of Emmett Till, when white folks could lynch Black men and be exonerated because they were wearing their invincible cloak of white supremacy. He miscalculated. He got fired. His own police chief heard the train coming and blew the whistle. His own mayor gave him the 411. The mayor learned that people don't quit. That officer is in jail now on a murder charge. We have to be careful, brothers and sisters. I am reminded that years ago there was another video of a Black man being brutalized by police. Out in Los Angeles, Rodney King was beaten mercilessly. Later, a jury saw the video and found that the police were acting appropriately when they beat Rodney. The officers were acquitted, and they walked away. And guess what? The city of Los Angeles burned. We have many South Carolinas and many Fergusons and many Los Angeleses and many Minnesotas in our own land, in our own community. We remember Osaze Osaki. He was killed right down the street. Y'all know that. My brother pointed out. He was killed right down our street. We have suffered no other lynchings, but we have suffered insults, indignities, and injustice. It's time that we put an end to it. We must call upon the university administration and the borough administration and the police to cease and desist from racial profiling and racial discrimination and all behavior which is rooted in the so-called white privilege. 150 years ago, Frederick Douglass demanded that this nation face its hypocrisy and eradicated the atrocity of slavery. Almost 200,000 of his Black brothers joined the Union Army to help free our people. They didn't quit. Took the bloodiest war ever on American soil, but they ended slavery. Over 100 years ago, W.B. Du Bois and other scholars formed our NAACP to fight lynching and Jim Crow segregation. They didn't quit. They fought in the courts until 1954 when the Supreme Court passed Brown versus Board of Education and ended legal segregation. Over 50 years ago, Martin Luther King and 250,000 other people marched on Washington to demand jobs and freedom and equality and voting rights. I was there, and I'm gonna tell you, we didn't quit. We rolled up our sleeves and went to work. And through those efforts, a Black president was elected. And in the last election, over 50 African Americans joined the House of Representatives. And if you want to help in that process, there's some voter registration forms right over here. Please fill them out. Now it's your turn. Train's still rolling. It's your turn to get on board. You must do what you can to end covert and overt racism and the ravages of white skin privilege in all the hidden places of our society. The bigots must be told, if I can't change your mind with my love, I will change your behavior with my truth. You, young brothers and sisters, must join hands with everyone, must form coalitions with all right-thinking folks, must take hold of the seats of power and, like Jacob, wrestle them to the ground to demand that the name of freedom be spoken aloud for all people. The law has been changed, but the tracks are on the ground and the train is running on time. Now you must change the consciousness of America. I'll conclude as Margaret Walker concluded. Let a new earth rise. Let another world be born. Let a bloody peace be written in the sky. Let a second generation full of courage issue forth. Let a people loving freedom come to growth. Let a beauty full of healing and strength of final quenching be the pulsing in our spirits and our blood. Let the marital songs be written. Let the dirges disappear. Let a race of men and women now rise and take control. You may ask, Professor, how can we do that? How can we do that? Some of us are just students struggling to graduate. Others are struggling trying to find a job. But I respond as Frederick Douglass did, as W.B. Du Bois did, as Martin Luther King did, as Fannie Lou Hamer, Barack Obama, and Malcolm X would respond. You must do it by any means necessary. Thank you.
Now we're going to have some music by Eric and Farmers. You can come up.
Yes. Sure. There you go. I don't believe it's a secret that I did not survive. And brother, I am aware that you were kept alive. I know why you wear that mark on your head. And I understand why you're not dead. King,
battle to me. That curse that's been laid on you. Recognize that it hurts me too. Cain, this is Abel. I've been trying to reach you, Cain. This is Abel. I've been trying battle to me. Battle Samewa and battle Maru Samewa and battle Maru Samewa and Nango Emenango Fera Amamera Amonera Caminango Amandingango Fera Amonera Samanango. That curse that's been laid on you, recognize that it hurts me too. Hey, this is Abel. I've been trying to reach you. Hey, this is Abel. I've been trying. Oh, did you know? I forgive you. Amaro samanange karo. 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 Amaro amare amare. Amaro samanange karo. Amaro samanange. Show me the way and I'll follow you. I'll pack my bags, I'll turn you. On my face into the light, I'll turn around into the light. I to follow you. Doors only you can. Oh, help me to pray, I'm on earnest prayer to you. You're always there for me. I love the way you show me that you love me. You teach me humility, you're always there when I fall. To you I surrender all. I wanna live. I want to hear only your love. I want to live. I want to hear only your love. I'm not eating this oil. I'm every I'm son la fiari, son la mamma e la Sangwalaki, umma Sengama, I also, I don't know, I'm there, come sick, chao, I'm made out of body, man, I don't like it, I'm love, I be there, so I know, I be there, don't Feel la Sunday, I know. Feel Sunday, Sunday, nada, feel, Sungaria, Hokuri, Sungaria, Hokuri, Sungaria, Hokuri, Sungaria, Hokuri. Help me to pray a more earnest prayer to realize you're always there for me. Love the way you show me that you love me. You're teaching me humility. You're always there when I fall. To you I surrender all. I want to give only your love. I want to live. I want to give only your love. I want to live. Wanna give only your love. I want to live. I want to give only your love.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody. First, I want to thank everybody for coming out today. I really appreciate the support and love on behalf of the NAACP. I want to recognize some of our officers. We have Jennifer Black here. She's our treasurer. I think we had Anna Moto and Susanna Paul here. They're our secretaries. We have so many people who came together today to make this happen. I want to acknowledge them. We have the State College girls. They have given us a tremendous a lot of support. We also have Leslie Lane. We have Jason. We have Brad. I forget last names. We have I know I'm going to forget somebody. Terry. All the performers. Thank you so much for coming out and doing this in your own time. I really appreciate it. I could ask you to continue to look at the online. We have a continued show online. We have a fantastic art display over here. If you can come and look at the African American art that's in the art gallery, please. There's tons of art in there of our African American local art.
You can plug it in for me. Hello, hello, hello. Can you hear me? Can't hear you.
That's because, there we go. Maybe I should unmute myself.
I think that's always good. I think we got a fantastic turnout despite the pandemic.
I know. And we did lose our feet at the end. I think that we was
we're over time.
Yeah. So State College Live said that Andrew Jackson was going to come on, but
hopefully we will be able to pick him up on the recording, and hopefully we won't lose that.
Yes,
but it was a
indeed.
fantastic tribute to our elders. I want to shout out Thelma Price. We're so excited to be able to recognize and ask people to remember Thelma Price. She was the assistant dean of students at New Kensington campus back in 1964, and then the acting director for the Equal Opportunity Fund at University Park in 1971, and became the first Black female assistant vice president for student affairs. So I'm excited, and I loved Mother Price because she was here when I got here, even in her retirement. She still supported and advocated for students and staff and lobbied with legislation. She was really a fantastic advocate for minority students in our school district, even in her retirement. So I thought that was pretty amazing today that we got the opportunity to hear from Will, honor his grandma, and all of us who dearly loved Mother Price.
Yes,
and of course, it's always fabulous to hear powerful words and the truth spoken by Errol Henderson and Charles Dumas. Charles Dumas is in his retirement too, and he's amazing. He was the former president, professor for theater at Penn State, and he ran for Congress in 2012. Maybe people
I
wouldn't
remember that. I remember that. Yes,
you
I
remember?
do.
Yeah,
Yep, I remember that.
and he's a professional actor, director, playwright, and he lives here in State College with us, and we love Charles Dumas. And that was an amazing and powerful piece that he wrote just for this occasion, Walk Together, Children.
You know, I'll share this too. You know, I got back from Buffalo, New York, and I was still caught up in my emotions. And right before bed, Charles calls me up. He goes, hey, brother, you got 5 minutes?" And yes, I heard that recited by Charles Dumas over the phone, and I nearly lost it. I said, first of all, Charles, I gotta say, I'm tripping out because I got Dr. Charles Dumas reading a piece that he wrote to me on the phone, and I was touched and definitely honored. So we'll get started with our virtual side, and Leslie and I put together some really good videos, and I'm hoping that those videos can educate, also bring some more awareness to what Juneteenth is.
That's right, a small glimpse of history, Terry. I think you're going to kick it off with Lift Every Voice and Sing, right?
Yes, I am. I did a show about a couple of weeks ago with Dr. Dwayne Wright, and as part of at the end of that show, we did a tribute to I want you to guys to see it yourself. So give me a second whilst I bring that in, because technology is always fun. All right. Well, with that said, please join me in Charles E. Gibson and Lift Every Voice and Sing. What's before? Yeah, there we go.
pretty amazing.
Yes, that was one that I remember when we first put that together. I got really, there was actually right when those incidents happened, and I think that sometimes music can really bring us together and make us heal. So
It does. And the
yeah,
original was created by James Weldon Johnson and was performed for the very first time by 500 school children in celebration of President Lincoln's birthday back in February 1900 in Jacksonville, Florida. And the poem was set to music by his brother and soon adopted by the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, the NAACP. It's our official song, and it's also known as the Black National Anthem. That was really
yes.
nice that you added those slides too. Thank you for that great tribute. What's next, Terry?
Well, you know what? I think one person that we love in this community is our dear Reverend Dr. Donna King, and she was so nice to give us a lovely preview to what Juneteenth is all about.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
And
so
I'm sorry, I think Dr. King, many people will remember, is still the Reverend at St. Paul's AME Church in Bellefonte. She's a
yes,
Penn State alum. And the African Methodist Church in Bellefonte was built in 1859, and it was a historic site that served as a stop on the Underground Railroad. And Dr. King still loves to give those freedom talks and walking tours.
yes, and you know what? And I believe she also did this speech in front of the Paul Ames Church. So with
Excellent.
that said, let's take a look at our dear sister, Reverend Dr. King.
Take it away.
Happy Juneteenth. We are worthy of freedom. A Juneteenth freedom with emancipatory consequences. Happy Juneteenth Day, everyone. Did you inherit a Jubilee mindset? A Jubilee mindset is spoken joys and the lifting up of praise, spoken struggle, and the rhythm of dancing through pain. That is keeping your mind bent on spiritual freedom. So as I always say, I woke up this morning with my mind stayed on freedom. Hallelujah. Hallelujah as I share and free the land. Amen. So what is this Jubilee Day? It's a holiday celebrated on the 19th of June to commemorate the emancipation of enslaved people in the United States of America. The holiday was first celebrated in Texas when the Union soldiers came to this remote state of Galveston and told the people in the aftermath of the Civil War that slaves were declared free. That is free in the terms of the 1863 Emancipation Proclamation signed by President Abraham Lincoln. Jubilee, the now enslaved former slaves celebrated with prayers, feasts, songs, and dance. Oh, happy day. Oh, freedom. Imagine the state of the nation. The former slaves had the birth of this luminous light of freedom. As you see, we have the lantern here because it's similar to the light of freedom, the same freedom that led slaves to freedom on the Underground Railroad. On the legislative end, the Emancipation Proclamation of 1863 and Senate Resolution 847 as Juneteenth Independence Day was submitted to the United States Senate in 2018. In our state of Pennsylvania, our Governor Wolf is recognizing the historical significance of this day of freedom through Act 9, formerly Bill 619, as an annual observance day. Last year at our church Juneteenth program, our church elder of 84 years, Loretta Wilson, proudly read the Pennsylvania Proclamation at the service here at St. Paul. She's now deceased, so let's honor her. Rest in peace, Deaconess Wilson. But this freedom has struggles and victories. You see, freedom comes with emancipatory consequences. So in conclusion, what is this Jubilee mindset? A freedom delayed, but it was official now in 1863. It was a long time coming. Ashe, and the land is free. But it took 2 years, now 1865, for the slaves of Texas to know that they were free. And what do you do with a delayed freedom? It's official now. We are all free from slavery in America, even now in the 21st century. But is freedom for all from slavery the same as freedom for a former slave? Is freedom really free? No. Do principalities? No. According to the state of the nation? Maybe. But it's official now, even in 2020. Is freedom free? In your heart, yes. I am free to choose how to think and feel emancipated, even with consequences. In your mind, yes. Free your mind and the rest will follow. And if you have that Jubilee mindset, you can fight for justice. You say a Jubilee mindset? Yes, keep your mind stayed on freedom, at 1863 freedom and at 1865 Jubilee. That's a Juneteenth mindset. So say I've got that old light of freedom. And I always have this lantern that says I've got the light of freedom. Because you know, the song says, old freedom, and before I'd be a slave, I'd be buried in my grave and go home to my Lord and be free. Oh, freedom. Oh, freedom. Oh, freedom over me. And before I be a slave, I'll be buried in my grave and go home to my Lord and be free. Ashe, Ashe. So yes, a freedom, a spiritual way of being liberated. Again, so say it with me, people. I woke up this morning with my mind stayed on freedom. What shall we do? Carry on that Jubilee mindset. Say and know that the light of freedom from Juneteenth Day means keep on moving forward in that spirit of freedom, when just like when it was new, and don't let nobody turn you around. So happy Juneteenth Day. Ashe and free the land. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Amen.
Well, you know what? I really, really, really love that one.
Well, I definitely appreciate Mama King giving us a
Yes,
speech about
indeed.
delayed freedom. And ain't nobody gonna turn us around.
You know, I posted that on my Facebook as my headline. Ain't nobody gonna turn us around. Keep on walking, keep on talking. You know, one cool thing that I really loved today was the young people standing up. You know, I always try to encourage young people to find their voice and speak for sure. Um, I love the idea that we have this monologue. So, Leslie, would you like to introduce our next speaker?
I thought you were doing the history first. Are we not doing history?
Yeah, I guess we could do the history. That's okay.
We have a recap that was really poignant, that was collected and compiled from information on history.com and PBS by Roland Wiley.
Absolutely. And here we go.
Sometime in the water, sometime in the water, sweet Jesus, He carried me. Sometime in the water, sometime in the water.
The Emancipation Proclamation was signed by President Abraham Lincoln on January 1st, 1863, officially declaring the freedom of over 3.5 million black slaves. However, news didn't make it as far as people would have originally thought. The American Civil War began on April 12, 1861, and 4 long years later, the Confederacy was defeated at the total cost of 620,000 Union and Confederate soldiers as of June 2nd, 1865. By the time the war ended in 1865, about 180,000 black men had served as soldiers in the U.S. Army. This was about 10% of the total Union fighting force. About 90,000 were former or contraband slaves from the Confederate States. About half of the rest were from the loyal border states, and the rest were free blacks from the North. 40,000 black soldiers died in the war, 10,000 in battle, and 30,000 from illness or infection. During the war, slavery in Texas was relatively unaffected because the state experienced no large-scale fighting or significant presence of Union troops. Many slave owners from outside the Lone Star State viewed it as a safe haven and moved there with their slaves. After the war came to a close in the spring of 1865, with General Granger's arrival in Galveston to announce that the Civil War had ended, signaled freedom for Texas's 250,000 slaves, they had no idea that their freedom had been secured by the government. On June 19, 1865, General Granger made the following announcement, which read as follows. The people of Texas are informed that, in accordance with a proclamation from the Executive of the United States, all slaves are free. This involves an absolute equality of personal rights and rights of property between former masters and slaves, and the connection heretofore existing between them becomes that between employer and hired labor. The freedmen are advised to remain quietly at their present homes and work for wages. They are informed that they will not be allowed to collect at military posts, and that they will not be supported in idleness either there or elsewhere. Celebrations broke out among newly freed blacks, although emancipation didn't happen overnight for everyone. On plantations, masters had to decide when and how to announce the news or wait for a government agent to arrive. In some cases, slave owners withheld the information until after harvest season. Even in Galveston, the ex-Confederate mayor flouted the army by forcing the freed people back to work. Those who acted on the news did so at their peril. Many men and women were lynched or shot in their attempts to pursue their newfound freedom. In one extreme case, according to Hayes Turner, a former slave named Katie Darling continued working for her mistress another 6 years. According to Darling, her mistress whipped her after the war just like she did before. Hardly the recipe for a celebration, which is what makes the story of Juneteenth all the more remarkable. Defying confusion and delay, terror and violence, the newly freed black men and women of Texas, with the aid of the Freedmen's Bureau, itself delayed from arriving until September 1865, now had a date to rally around. In one of the most inspiring grassroots efforts of the post-Civil War period, they transformed June 19th from a day of unheeded military orders into their own annual rite, Juneteenth, beginning 1 year later in 1866.
You know what's interesting though, too, Leslie, is this morning people was asking, what's the history of Juneteenth? So hopefully after watching that video, everyone has a great idea.
And I think they've got the truth. It wasn't all hunky-dory after 1865. The sad truth is we forced freed people back to work. We lynched them. We had terror and trauma and brutality that continued after emancipation.
Yes, yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Well, you know what? I want to keep it flowing because we still have a great crowd online, nearly 100. So I want to keep it flowing.
Excellent. I
Now,
saw we had
Leslie,
some people in from Maine.
we did have some people from Maine. I don't know if I know them or not, or what have you not, but please, thank you for joining us. Also in Pittsburgh too, so I saw that also pop up as well. Matter of fact, whilst you're online, since this is the second session, please comment where are you watching from, because we like to know where are you watching from and show us some love. Okay, So, Leslie, can you introduce our next guest?
Yes, I think we have a monologue entitled Why Can't They Hear Us by Sharmi Taylor. She's a Penn State alum. She got her bachelor's degree in acting. She moved to Los Angeles, California, and received an Encore Choice Award for improv. She is an actress, a blogger, and a YouTuber, and she's been featured on Hello Giggles and BuzzFeed. Terry,
Yeah.
take it away.
And she's also, as we all know, she is the daughter of our current NAACP president, Lorraine Taylor. I love this piece. It's a short piece, but it's very powerful. So with that, Miss Taylor.
I remember you. I see you on the street all the time. You're my neighbor, right? Yeah, we wave as we pass by, and I see you in the grocery store sometimes, or even in Target. I've seen you in the drive-thru as well, which is so wild because I go to McDonald's sometimes late at night, or even Wendy's. It's one of those things, you know? But somehow you can't hear me. And I don't know why. You know how to chant my brother's name on the basketball court, but never in the streets when we protest. Why can't you hear me? You know, I'm a human being too. Before being brutally murdered by a police officer and then forgotten about. Before I lie lifeless in the street, I have needs and wants and loves and desires. I fall in love and out of love, and I have family. I have people that love me. I love people. I don't understand why you can't hear me until I'm lying lifeless on concrete. I can't understand why you can't hear me until I'm a headline that fades away the next week, until I'm a black square on somebody's Instagram. Why can't you hear me? I'm screaming from within. I'm shouting because all I want for you to do is treat me like I'm a human being. I don't want to die alone, with nobody knowing who I was, with the media tormenting me and making me feel like I'm a monster. You want me to sit back? And I refuse to.
Wow, wow, and wow.
Isn't that powerful, Terry? I think it speaks to our basic human desire. We want to be known.
Yes, yes. You know, as I was, putting the videos and trying to get them in order, I just watched that one over and over again, and I think sometimes when you hear someone speaking from the heart, it connects to you. I think I call it transferring the energy, and the energy that she was transferring, I think we all felt that one, you know. Yeah. So Leslie sent me this one, and I gotta tell you, I text Leslie this morning and says, you know what, I'm too busy jamming to this one. This one really got me moving. I'm gonna try not to dance at this one again, but Free My Soul. And Leslie, I'll let you introduce this one because I think, and I want to thank them for letting us actually use this on our show today.
Well, what's really personable and really individual, this is a marvelous piece, and we're going to love it. It's entitled Free My Soul. And of course, it's a dance that celebrates freedom in Juneteenth, as we know, Freedom Day. But it also recognizes the day that enslaved people became aware of their physical bondage and the release from it. And this piece is dedicated to freedom. But more importantly, this piece was created and choreographed by our very own Terry Agile XM, which is Kikora Franklin's mother. And she debuted this week in Atlanta. And so here we are watching this in State College.
And if you are like me, please enjoy this one.
There's a train that comes from Namibia and Malawi. There's a train that comes from Zambia and Zimbabwe. There's a train that comes from Angola and Mozambique, from Lesotho, from Botswana, from Swaziland, from all the hinterlands of southern and central Africa. This train carries young and old African men who are conscripted to come and work on contract in the golden mineral mines of Johannesburg and its surrounding metropoli. 16 hours or more a day for almost 2 days. Deep down in the belly of the earth, when they are digging and drilling for that shiny, mighty, invasive stone, or when they dish that mishmash food into their iron plates with the iron shovel, or when they sit in their stinky, funky, filthy, flea-ridden barracks and hostels, they think about the loved ones they may never see again, because they might already have been forcibly removed from where they last left them, or wantonly murdered in the dead of night by roving and marauding gangs of no particular origin. We are told. They think about their land and their herds that were taken away from them with the gun and the bomb and the tear gas and the gatling and the cannon. And when they hear that train, a jumping and a pumping and a smoking and a pushing and a pumping, drumming and a skipping and a cheeky and a they always cuss and they curse the coal train that brought them to Johannesburg.
Well, you're muted, Leslie. You had to unmute yourself. There you go. All right, that was yes.
It's a powerful piece, Terry. Free My Soul with music by Stimula, The Coal Train by Hugh Masekela. That's why you're able to jam like that.
I was jamming. I saw you jamming too. I could see when the screen is off. By the way, I could see you jamming too. So I wasn't alone.
It's true.
You know, so one question we constantly get is, how do you talk to your children about this? How do you How do you explain to your children about Juneteenth or racism or whatever it may be? And so I'm so excited that we have our next guest. So Leslie, if you want to do the introductions.
I will. I just want to remind everybody that that was a new tradition, or it's a very common tradition to have that African dance piece. And Kikora and her mom, Terry Ajile, are amazing in that Moja dance style in Atlanta. And they do a workshop in New York City too. So if you're out there watching from New York City, watch for those workshops. They're fabulous. And yes, Terry, like you mentioned, we would be remiss if in our history and our dance and our music that we didn't pull in the tradition of storytelling. And
Absolutely.
storytelling is a very powerful method for teaching our children about any subject. And so we have a live reading for our children right now by Dr. Dre Kareem. She is a former faculty member for College of Education. She worked in administration for student support services. She is my church sister. She is a wonderful author of 3 new books. Welcome, Dr. Dre. Audrey, take it away.
Can you hear us, Dr. Audrey?
Yes, finally I can. And initially I could not hear Leslie. I trust she gave a wonderful introduction. Just because I know Leslie, I didn't understand anything she said, but I'm sure it was wonderful.
Indeed. Well, the stage is all yours.
Okay, well, welcome. And I just want to say hello, brothers and sisters, babies, friends, and foes, whoever's out there listening and watching. I hope that there are some little people, because I do have another Lucy Liu book that I want to share with you. And this book is titled Lucy Liu Discovers Juneteenth. And, you know, because this book is so new, we don't have all the illustrations, but I can let you know that this is Lucy Liu and this is Gigi. So here's our story. Early in the summer, after the school year ends and before summer camp begins, Lucy Liu and Gigi spent the afternoons together working in their garden. This year, they started with some flowers, planting lilies, marigolds, then lavender, and 2 small bushes of roses. And in the vegetable garden, they planted green beans, collard greens, sweet potatoes, and those little grape tomatoes. So Gigi was not surprised when she saw Lucy Liu coming, but she didn't understand, why was she running? After giving Lucy Liu a big hug when she arrived at the door, she immediately posed her question. My Lucy Liu, I didn't see anyone chasing you, so why were you running? Still slightly out of breath, Lucy Liu replied, Gigi, I wanted to get here quick because I have a lot of questions to ask. I know we have to water the flowers and check on the vegetables, but I just learned about something that's really incredible. Well, Lucy Liu, I'm all ears. Do tell. Well, Gigi, today when I looked on the calendar, I saw that we have a new holiday called Juneteenth. The note on my calendar said it's the day that our ancestors were set free. But Gigi, I thought that's why we celebrate the 4th of July with parades, cookouts, and Janie's grandma's apple pie. But Gigi, didn't President Lincoln set our enslaved ancestors free with the Emancipation Proclamation? Please tell me, what really happened, Gigi? I need an explanation. Gigi handed Lucy Liu a cool drink and said, baby girl, have a seat and enjoy this sweet tea while I tell you a few things about our history. Well, first of all, you are right. The 4th of July celebrates the Declaration of Independence that was. Here's the trick. Although the document does declare that all men are created equal and deserve a life of liberty, sadly, that declaration did not include people of color, not people that look like you or me. As you know, our ancestors were captured and forced to leave their home in Africa. For over 400 years, our people were put in shackles. They were beaten, branded, and traded like cattle. Our people were forced to do all sorts of hard jobs without pay. From sun up to sundown, day after day. Fortunately, there were a few who spoke up because they did not agree that our people should continue to be sold as property and forced to work for free. There was a great conflict over states' rights between the northern and southern states, and a big issue but slavery, was a big part of the debates. So in 1861 was the start of the Civil War, North versus South. Many lives were lost as they battled it out. 2 years later, President Lincoln actually signed the Emancipation Proclamation of 1863, which should have ended the harsh life of slavery. But it took another 2 years of war before the South accepted defeat, and the practice of legal slavery ended in 1865 on June 19th. Lucy Lou jumped out of her seat and gave Gigi a big, huge hug and said, thank you, Gigi, for explaining that to me. Now I understand our special holiday, Juneteenth. And so that's the story of how Lucy Lou discovered Juneteenth. I hope you enjoyed it a lot.
That's amazing, Dre. Thank you so much for that tribute. See, talented Black authors writing books that are timely so that we can have these discussions with our children and our grandchildren, books that we didn't have growing up. This is a great tradition, and thank you for putting it in writing.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
Wonderful. Well, keep it in the spirit keep it in the spirit of our children. I think we want to dive into some art that also express Juneteenth.
Oh.
Yes, we did. And by art, I mean, of course, theater.
Oh, I was about to say, you're pulling up something I didn't put in there. I'm going, wait a minute. You're surprising me. Well, Terry, let's cue up two of my very favorite Juneteenth videos that actually came from Blackish because I thought they were perfect and timely. They are a reminder that we are still waiting for reparations, the promise of 40 acres and a mule to redistribute land for the creation of Black settlements. And the second clip is for We Built This, about how slavery created the wealth that exists today.
Now, I'll tell you, Blackish was a show that I caught on to late. And I think the first episode I saw of Blackish was after Obama was elected. And that really brought to sight, to me at least, some of the things that people like us who are in the community like this, like State College, sort of feel sometimes, when we are looking at, where we at and exactly where we should be. So, with that said, oh yeah, Audrey, thank you so much. I kept you on, but you can always join us if you want to. But thank you so much, and we will see you later.
you.
Bye, Audrey. All right. So with that said, let's take a look at our
Freedom, and we built this.
All right.
Being free means we're finally going to be equal to the white man.
Juneteenth, it was the 20th, but the 19th when it was told to us.
It's time to vote for me to take part in this democracy.
Tear them freedom papers up, please, cause we don't need to show ID.
It's June 19th, we celebrate.
Grab a blonde and miscegenate.
Ooh, ain't that something?
I can finally whistle at a white woman.
I'ma start a business. I'ma get along. I'ma move to the burbs and buy me a home. I'ma take a vacation and when I'm gone,
they won't burn crosses on my lawn. I can sit at the counter all day.
And I won't get sprayed with a fire hose.
When I get reparations, I'ma act a fool. Plant my 40 acres and go strike the mule. Get my 40 acres and a mule.
Get my 14 acres and a mule. Get my 14 acres and a mule.
Boys quit.
It's gonna be okay. It's gonna be all right.
We raised their children, then raised their buildings,
and they made billions.
I'm catching feelings. Really? What else did we build?
railroads,
Wall Street,
the White House and University,
UVA.
we built that.
Chapel Hill.
We built that.
pyramids. No, sorry, our Hebrew brothers get credit for that.
Mazel. Let's turn up and get it poppin'.
Settle down, we still ain't got nothing.
We built this.
We built this.
I'm done, y'all. I'ma keep it 100. Tomorrow when I hit the field, I'ma keep running.
We did everything that the overseer wanted.
And if we got paid, then we'd be stunned.
Sugar cane, cotton ham.
My blood
is sweat, paid for this land. My life would have been different if I didn't have cinnamon pigment. We built this.
Welcome back. Welcome back.
I'm telling
Wow.
you, freedom.
I love that show, by the
And
way.
I think, well, there you go. And I think we underestimate the power of educating one another, even in these clips. They're a minute, 2 minutes long. You can send them via email. You can send links out and share it with people who need to watch and hear something educational about the reality of our Black lives in America.
Yes, yes. And one thing I will comment before we go into the next one is that when you watch these types of videos, it's something that reminds you of the strength of our ancestors, and that strength, again, I believe, is transferred on to us today. Again, I absolutely love that show, and I think it is a very educational show as well.
And
Well,
what a
with this,
powerful reminder, right? That we are a great
mhm.
gift. We are our ancestors' wildest dreams. I mean, this is amazing, right? I mean, they can watch
Uh,
ourselves now on television. We can watch Blackish on ABC. We can be president of the United States. I think this is huge, right? This is
right.
unprecedented. It isn't now, it's commonplace for us, but we're still elevating who we are in the public eye, and that's important. So I think one of those wonderful reminders, even in our movies next, right? I love
Mhm.
Selma. That's another fun
Yes.
post freedom revelation and reflection of the civil rights movement. Let's share the clip from Glory because I love the version with Common and John Legend. It's 3
Uh,
minutes. Can you spare it?
I think we can. And next, our film Glory.
One day, when the glory comes, it will be ours. It will be ours. Oh, one day, when the war is won, we will be sure. We will be sure. Oh, glory, glory, glory. Oh, glory.
Hands to the heavens, no man, no weapon formed against, yes, glory is destined. Everyday women and men become legends. Sins that go against our skin become blessings. The movement is a rhythm to us. Freedom is like religion to us. Justice is juxtaposition in us. Justice for all just ain't specific enough. One son died, the spirit is revisiting us. True and living in us. Resistance is us. That's why Rosa sat on the bus. That's why we walk through Ferguson with our hands up. When it go down, we woman and man up. They say stay down, and we stand up. Shots, we on the ground. The camera panned up. King pointed to the mountaintop, and we ran up.
One day, when the glory comes, it will be ours. It will be ours. Oh, glory, glory, oh, glory, glory. Now the war is not over. Victory isn't won, but we'll fight on to the finish. And then when it's all done, we'll cry glory, oh glory,
Selma is now for every man, woman, and child. Even Jesus got his crown in front of a crowd. They march with the torch, we gon' run with it now. Never look back, we done gone hundreds of miles. From dark roads, heroes, to become a hero. Facing the League of Justice, his power was the people. Enemy is lethal, a king became regal. Saw the face of Jim Crow under a bald ego. No one can win a war individually. It take the wisdom of the elders and young people's energy. Welcome to the story we call victory. The coming of the Lord, my eyes have seen the glory.
one day, when the glory comes, it will be ours. It will be ours. Oh, glory,
Well, yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
We're
Whew.
still seeking
Love,
justice, Terry.
love it. And like I said, let freedom ring. Thank you again, Black Monarchy in Buffalo, New York, for a lovely T-shirt. Leslie and I are matching, by the way.
Yeah.
If you haven't noticed. Yes, we are. Yes, we are. All right. Okay. So, I
Hey,
guess
Terry, can you tell the people about the upcoming competition we're about to roll out?
Yeah, so if you are paying attention to Strategies for Justice, you would notice that we do have a competition. We had to cancel it for a period of time because of COVID, but it is called what is justice? And the theme is going to be Osaze Ozagi. What we want to do is hear from our young people. One of the things that's so important is that us older folks, we like to talk, but sometimes we don't like to listen. And it is time that we listen to our young people. So I am targeting ages grades 7 through 12. And I put up $150. I've asked the community to match my donation for this competition. And I really want to see our young folks come out in their own art form, either be spoken word or poetry, music, whatever it may be. I want them to answer the one question: what is justice? We'll open that up for July 1st, and we will announce the winners come August 1st.
Yes, we're going to host another event August 2nd, so tune in and stay tuned for Osaze's birthday, and we hope to have winners then. So if you'd like to make a donation to Strategies for Justice, or if you'd like to nominate some wonderful students, that information will be up and live after this broadcast on the website to share. So thanks,
Absolutely.
Terry. And thank all of
Yes.
you who have been tuned in for our inaugural Juneteenth commemoration. We hope that you've enjoyed this educational presentation and that you'll share it with your friends and family. This live stream is going to be up for 3 days. And we're going to end with one last song. Terry, if you'd cue it up, I would love to hear Lean on Me by Bree Anna and Bree Harper and the RVA Choir.
But before we do that, I do want to do a quick shout out to State College Live because they have been so wonderful in helping us broadcast today.
Oh,
And
yes.
with that said, State
Yeah.
College Live, yes indeed.
What's up, everybody? This is Jason.
And it's James.
From State College Live. If you don't know, go to facebook.com/State College Live for all of your State College Live goodness.
And actually, you can go to statecollegelive.com and it will redirect you to facebook.com.
Because we're fancy like that.
Super fancy.
We have some cool stuff coming up this week.
We do?
Yes. On Sunday, we're going to be making an announcement to calling all artists, all musicians.
All musicians.
We are having a songwriting competition this week.
24-hour songwriting competition. But that songwriting competition does not start on Sunday.
It's very confusing.
It's just the announcement.
It's just the announcement on Sunday. But you got to go to statecollegelive.com or facebook.com/State College Live for all the info. Check out that video. It'll be pinned to the top of the page. See all you musicians this week.
2 p.m. on Sunday. And if you can't see it, we promise we'll send it out.
We'll send it out?
We'll send it out.
Okay, we'll send it out.
We'll send it out.
State College Live. See you there.
Awesome.
That's our crew.
Yes, it
Jason
is.
and James.
They did a wonderful job downtown, allowing us to see downtown what was going on. So thank you so much. All right. So with that said, we're coming to the end.
Lean on me, Terry.
Yes, we go. I gotta go this way, right? Yeah, that's right. That's what we've practiced these things, by the way. So with that said, we do have our final video of the day, and it is titled "Lean on Me." Do you want to explain a little bit about the performance of this one?
No, it's fabulous. It's just a clip. It's gonna inspire everybody and illuminate everybody to keep on singing, lean on one another as we go through these protests and these problems and these struggles, because it's real. But we all have to be willing to be inconvenienced and uncomfortable in the name of justice. So lean on me. Right? We heard the justice train is pulling out the station from Charles.
Yes, indeed. Well, with that said, lean on me. And everyone, thank you all for taking the time again. I'm Terry Watson from Strategies for Justice.
And I'm Leslie Lang, member of the new State College NAACP. Join us.
Yeah, absolutely.
You can lean on me.
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 Yes, you can.
Yes, you can.
You can lean on me.
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 Just lean on me.
Just lean on me.
Oh.
Sometimes in our lives, we all have pain. We all have sorrow. But if we are wise, always tomorrow. Lean on me when you're not strong. I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on, for it won't be long. So I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. Please swallow your pride. If I have things you need to borrow, no one can feel those of your needs that you won't let it show.
You just call on me, brother, when you need a hand. We all need somebody to lean on. I just might have a problem that you'll understand. We all need somebody to lean on. Yeah, yeah.
When you're not strong,
I'll be your friend. It won't be long, no. Somebody to lean on. Call on your brother when you need a hand. We all need somebody to lean on. I just might have a problem that you understand. We all need somebody to lean on. And if there is a load you have to bear that you can't carry, just know I'm right off the road and I'll share your load. If you just call me, why don't you?
when you need a friend,
Yeah.
call me, call me, call me, call me, call me. Yeah.
Call me, call me, call me.
Well, with that said, everyone, everyone have a great day. Happy Juneteenth. Next year, hopefully, we'll be together and, and have a more, together moment and collaborative time, if I should say so myself.
Bless you all for joining us and spending these couple of hours with us. We apologize that we were running a little late today, but the stream was worthy. We had a large crowd at the MLK Plaza downtown. We are just so overjoyed, even in the midst of this pandemic, that we were able to spend this time with you and share a little Black history and celebrate and commemorate Juneteenth. So thank you. And if you want to see more of Terry and I, make sure that you email us and let us know. And we thank you again on behalf of the State College NAACP.
And Strategies for Justice. Have a great evening. Bye-bye.